Hey Alan, nice to meet you. I'm Chantal and I'm gonna be your interviewer today. So tell me a little bit about yourself and why do you think you're qualified to get your permit?
Well, I've learned a lot in the past about driving on the road safely, maintaining an adequate speed at the roads, and I know a lot about the rules about safe driving. I have a good reaction time as well, which is knowing when to hit the brakes safely without causing a collision or putting in danger anyone's lives.
So now Alan, tell me what is following distance, braking distance, complete stop distance, and what are some factors that can affect all of this?
Well, following distance is the distance at least of 2 to 3 seconds of difference between your car and the one that's in front. Now, braking distance, it's the distance that requires one to hit the brakes. It's often about 5 meters, but depending on the speed that you're going to. Now, stopping distance is the idea that the driver has to come to a complete stop depending on the speed and the cars in front, the climate conditions that are outside, external factors such as other cars around, in front, or behind the one that you're driving.
So Alan, second question. If you're approaching an intersection and a yellow light comes in, what factors do you need to take into consideration? Whether you slow down or just keep going?
Well, it depends on the situation and the speed that I'm going through. If I can see that I am in the go zone, let's say that the yellow light just switches, and I still have time to cross the intersection, I think it's okay to cross. But let's say that I arrive and the light at the stoplight is already yellow. It is not really convenient for me to keep going. So what I'll do is just to stay in the stop zone, which is not moving. And the dilemma zone is the space between the car that's in front of you and the one that you're driving, or the ones that are around you. But there's also the overlap zone, which is taking basically the risk of keep going or stopping at the stop zone. And it's really up to your choice and depends on the circumstance that you're on.
So, third and last question. You're only a step ahead to get your permit. Are you excited?
Yes.
Okay, so how does speed, friction, and the radius of the road can affect a car when turning?
Well, speed is the distance traveled in unit time and has no direction. But depending on the speed that one is traveling depends also on the road, on the conditions. Let's say that if the pavement is wet, let's say it rains, the car has little friction and has a higher chance of collision or getting off road, because if the roads are wet, cars can lose track or not be in the pavement. Well, and also another factor that is very important to know is that depending on the radius of the road, it also depends on your chances of getting a collision. And these are all linked to, let's say, speed, and it's also linked to the friction of the roads. Because let's say that the roads have like a narrow radius, and let's say that the conditions in which the pavement are wet. The car, when going through this radius that is so narrow, has a higher chance of getting off road or being engaged in a collision than if it was wider, and let's say that the conditions of the pavement were clear, and let's say that it was not wet.
Well, thank you, Alan. It was really nice to meet you.
Same.
And here is your permit. I know you'll be a safe driver.
Thank you.
You're welcome.